Perfecto. So, hello, beautiful women from all over the world. Super excited to be able to spend Women Who Wander Wednesday with you. And I think in Australia it's Thursday. Is it Thursday? Okay,
It
so
is.
it's hold on, wait, I gotta think how we can give me a T word to use for
Tuesday.
yeah.
Travel
Wait,
Thursday.
it's Thursday there. Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's Women Who Travel Thursday for you and Women Who Wander Wednesday for us. Okay, so we got that knocked out. Definitely feel blessed and honored to be here. If you guys do not know me, my name is Hadiatu Dumbuya, and this travel club that we're here for has changed my life in so many different ways. And so us as women, I feel that we do things very differently, and it's important for us to have a space, right? For us to be able to talk about how and why we need travel in our lives. For me personally, I needed it because I am a complete and total workaholic. And if there's anybody that can relate, you could say me too. I am an overachiever. And with being an overachiever and a workaholic, guess what that leaves no time for? Travel. And I realized at 30 years young, right before I donated my kidney to my brother, that I was not immortal. And I realized that at some point I was going to leave this earth. And it freaked me out to my core. And I was like, well, if I do have to leave, I want to make sure that I see all the beautiful places in this world. I want to be around the people that I want to be around, not just the people that I have to be around to make money. And so I said yes 11 years ago, and here we are. So that's really like why we decided, or why I decided to be here. But there are other people that decided to be here for different reasons. And I think it's important for you to be able to have a Me Too moment, and for you to understand the women that are here, how this has transformed us mentally, physically, and spiritually. And so you're going to hear some stories along the way. What we'll also do is I'm going to show you what our club is. Some of you guys are already a part of the club, so you're like, I already know what it is. But then there's some of you guys that aren't. And we want you to be able to do life with us, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have one of the stories come on first. Before I even go into what it is that we have that has allowed us to travel, I want you to know why this beautiful queen said yes to this, and why women in general need us. I don't think it's a luxury anymore to travel. For women, I believe it's a necessity. With all the different hats that we wear, all the things that we take care of for everybody else, I believe that this right here is going to allow you to start giving yourself something back. And so without further ado, I'm super excited to introduce you to a life coach that I know out of Australia, who has changed thousands of people's lives from what she's done being a life coach. But then she also was able to kind of infiltrate this into her life, and it's changed her for the better. And so without further ado, I'm super excited to introduce you to this woman. If you look at the screen, it says Kick-Ass Kylie, and that is exactly how she operates. Okay, so without further ado, I'm excited to introduce you to, all the way from Australia on Thursday, Miss Kick-Ass Kylie.
Wow. Oh my goodness, Hadiatu, I love you. I appreciate you. And let's all just drop some 8s in the chat to share some love to Hadiatu for actually bringing this call together. Just so appreciate you, beautiful, and so blessed and honored to be part of this journey with you. So hello, ladies from all over the world. I'm Kick-Ass Kylie, and just want you to just think for a moment, how many hats do you wear? Like, just think, today, how many hats have you had to wear today? So many of you, you might be a mum. I'm a single mum, which means doing it all. And, I'm also a daughter. I've got my dad flying in to visit me today. I'm also a leader with DreamTrips. I've just hosted a dream trip. I'm a friend. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a traveler. We wear so many hats. At home, what do? We're the accountant, the cook, the cleaner, that can be exhausting, right? Like, if we actually stop and think about how many hats we wear. So for me, travel has completely transformed my life in so many ways. But I want to just kind of backtrack. Yeah, Auntie, exactly. Like, keep them coming in the chat, ladies. Like, what are all of the hats that we wear? And it is exhausting because as women, what do? Like, we are everything to everyone. And often, we put ourselves last. So for me, there's actually two parts to my story that I wanted to share with you today. So when I actually got introduced to Dream Trips, it was 8.5 years ago. And I used to own gyms. I had 13 gyms, fitness centers, and I was stressed to the eyeballs. We were making a lot of money, but I had no time. And my daughter at the time was 6, and we were about to open club number 13. I was going to pull another all-nighter. I was glued to my phone and my laptop and the emails and the calls and the 50,000 things that needed to be done. And my daughter was 6. And this 6-year-old brought me to my knees in tears. And she said, "Mummy, all you ever do is work. You're always on your phone. You're always on your computer. When are we going to get the fun, Mum? And when are we going to go on holidays?" And for me, it was like a knife through my heart, because in that moment, I realized the only time that my daughter had me completely present as the fun mum was when we're on holidays. And, it makes me like, I get really emotional when I share that, because I know as a mum, how we are pulled in every direction, and we love our kids, and we all say hand on heart, I would do anything for my kids. But if we're actually really honest with ourselves, quite often our kids don't come first because we're doing all of the other things. And so for me, the connection and the relationship with my kids is so important. And in that moment, I made a decision that I was going to do life differently. In that moment, I made a decision to actually sell my traditional business and figure out how I could be that fun mum and travel full time with my kids. And thanks to, this community, this platform of Dream Trips, within a couple of years, I was able to pull my kids out of school and travel full time. But of course, then COVID hit and no one could travel anymore. And for me, and I don't know if you ladies can relate to this, but I felt like a part of me died. Like, I missed the connection, the friendship, the travel, the experiences. And I actually felt brokenhearted. I felt so lost when I wasn't traveling. And so when the borders opened up and I found out that Dream Trips was back open and would I come back, I was like, absolutely. It was like a dream came true for me. And, I've since rejoining Dream Trips been to Greece, to Athens, to Santorini, and got to hang out with Hadiatu, Hawaii. We've just had a dream trip here in the Whitsundays where I got to meet Trish in person for the first time. Just checking off so many epic bucket list destinations, which for me as a single mum, that just would not be possible without this club. And right now, my son, 3.5 years ago, I became a single mum, and my son is quite sick. He's got a chronic condition called Crohn's, and he's in and out of hospital all the time. And, for me to be able to be there present by his side in hospital where, I don't have a partner to be here to help look after all the things, and I don't have someone else to financially support me. So, this community has been the support for me. And it's this model that's allowed me to take my kids on amazing dream trips when he's able to. But most importantly, it's also allowed me financially to create, an income so that I can give my kids the life that most, normal parents, families with 2 children can do. So, I know for me, when I travel, I feel good. And when we feel good, we can be the best version of ourselves. And I know, hand on heart, after being in the health and wellness industry for 20 years, the absolute best thing that we can do for our health is to go on a trip, to go on a holiday, to experience new things. So I made a decision to become the crazy fun mum, the traveling mermaid, to check off epic bucket list experiences. And I'm all about experiences, not things. So I hope that that has resonated with you ladies today. And I just want to leave you with this. Tomorrow is not promised. We don't know how long we've got. And, we can have all the excuses and reasons under the sun of why we don't do something. Or right now, you can literally just make a decision and burn the bridges of the past and go, you know what, my past is not going to determine my future. And right now in this moment, you can create whatever life you want to create. You can be whoever it is that you want to be. And if that means you want to travel more, you want to create more fun, you want to create more freedom, you want to bring more love, you know, you want to help more people, like whatever that is, you can decide that in this moment. And, you know, don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow will never come. And so my wish for you is that life is everything you've ever dreamed of, multiplied by infinity, because you, your family, your dreams and your goals are all absolutely worth it. So Hadiatu, back to you, beautiful queen.
Thank you so much. And Kylie, I can relate to you in so many different ways. Like I'm not a full-time mommy. I am a bonus mama. And my daughter said the exact same thing to me. You know, since I've been on this journey of entrepreneurship, my daughter has watched everything. She's been a part of every presentation, and she's, you know, behind the scenes, so you don't see her. But as kids mature, they will say whatever they want, however they want, whenever they want. Okay, so if you've got children, you already know whether they're younger or more mature, they're going to say something to like literally hit you in the gut. And, you know, that's the best part about having a kid, is that they'll do that. But for us as multitasking moms, bonus moms, aunties, sisters, all of those things, you don't even realize the impact that you have on somebody's life. And the time and the experiences are what kids want more than our money. You know, my mom yells at me all the time. She's like, you work too much. But I'm like, yeah, but I'm sitting next to you doing it. You know, I never had that opportunity before working with athletes. I was gone all the time. Now I can get yelled at all day by my crazy African mom, right? Like I get to sit here and get cussed out. You know what I'm saying? Like, where else can you get that? No, but you know, those reasons that you said, Kylie, I think it resonates. Something resonated. If you felt anything that resonated, say I can relate, so that we know that we're in the right place at the right time. And, you know, when I go through some of these slides, I'm going to share some slides with you guys, just so you know. And for you that are a guest on here, this is brand new to you. We are all, whoever invited you here, we're a part of a travel club. Okay. That travel club allows us to travel the world, and we don't have to put things together. Ladies, normally when you go on a trip, who puts everything together? Us, right? It's the worst. You go on a trip and you need another trip, because everybody's waiting for you to put something together. I mean, is there anybody that's on here that has tried to put together a trip with their girlfriends and everybody is down to go when you talk about it, right? Everybody down. I'm ready. I want to go on this trip. I'm ready. And then when it's time to do the first deposit, can anybody tell me what happens? You could even unmute yourself and tell me what happens. First deposit, what happens?
They're like, bye.
Yes, I know. You started with 20. You started with 20 people, you guys. 20. Okay.
Hey,
20
don't make it out the group chat.
Girl, can I do it a little bit later? I'm gonna get you on the second one, right? And so first deposit started out with 20. Ladies, that second deposit, so now it's at 10. Let's be real, right? It's at 10 because you couldn't get a babysitter. You know, you're fighting with your boyfriend. It's like it's always somebody's something, right? Like, I don't know if my husband's gonna let me leave. I mean, I'm not sure if my girlfriend's gonna be okay with me going with all these different people that she does. It's something. So we went down to 10. Second deposit. Talk to me about the second deposit, y'all. Second deposit. How many? Let me just see in the chat. I want to see how many on the second deposit. Anybody? Second deposit. It went from 10 to what? Charity, how many? Charity said 5. Look, okay, so it split one more time, right? We have the second deposit. Now people are asking for their money back. Well, I can't even go, but can I get my money back? So we already split up the hotel and everything based on the 20. Okay. And then it's the last deposit. Last deposit. It's time for us to go on this trip. How many? Started at 20, y'all. Went down to 10. Went down to 5. How many? Look, Shannon said, you. It's like 2 people, right? And you go on this trip and you end up spending way more than you planned because you did it based on the 20 people that committed that they were going to go. Now you have to pay more money. And then the one friend that goes with you, she's Miss Complain a lot. She don't like the food. I don't even like how that driver talked to me. I mean, I can't believe they don't speak English over here. That's for real. That's real life stories, ladies, of traveling with people. People are special. And so I went through that a lot. I mean, like way too many times, to the point where it made me not like my friends. And I was like, I want to like you, but everything that you've done has made me not anymore. And so I realized that I needed a new group of people to travel with. Guys, when I got introduced to this 11 years ago, I really thought I was going to get, like, all my close friends that I always go to the parties with. They were going to be the right ones for me to travel with. And then I just realized they're much more closed-minded. I'm a free spirit. Just so you know, if you're a part of this club or wanting to be about here at this club, Miss Tammy, this is for free spirits. Okay. So if you're like super prude and everything has to be perfect, this ain't for you. Okay, so somebody else puts together everything for us. You show up. There's going to be some things that aren't perfect, but that's traveling in general. That has nothing to do with the company. That's just traveling. Like, you might show up and everybody's room is awesome and yours might not be because of the hotel. Okay, but that's travel. And so I want to get all of that out before I even get into what we do, so that if you're like, I'm not even in the right place and I need everything to be perfect for me, and I'm vegan and gluten-free, and if every single meal is not vegan and gluten-free, it's not for me, this is probably not the club for you, boo. But we love you. We would love to hang out with you, just not on a trip so you don't complain with us, okay? So I'm going to show you how our club works. It's pretty simple, okay? You're going to have a membership. I'll show you what the membership is. When you pay your membership, you're going to get access to a website. It's DreamTrips.com. There's a lot of different trips on there. It might not have the dream trip that you want right this second, right when you go in. Okay, Mary, if that happens, calm down. We'll get it. Okay. Our goal is to really do something that allows for everybody to be able to have something. If you are a type of person that, like, you really don't have any flexibility, again, this is not for you. I'm the type of person that would rather tell you now, so you're not mad after 30 minutes when you're hanging out with us. I'm telling you now, it's that. Okay. The other thing I want to make sure that I tell you, this is a very inclusive community. So although this is a women's call and we will have some women's trips, it's for everybody, every kind of person. So when we go on these trips, I'm not asking you to be best friends with everybody, but if you're the person that's like, I don't really like people, this is not for you, okay? And so I'm just preparing you all. So as I go through this, you're going to know if it's for you or not right at the very beginning. If you got it, tell me you got it in the chat so we just know what's up. And then I'm going to share these slides. Now, as I go through the slides, if you have questions, just say you have questions. Now, I am going to show you some trips. These are just some of the trips that we have. They're not all of the trips. You really can go to dreamtrips.com and scroll through and see what we have. Every Friday, we add new trips on there. Okay. And let me do this. I forgot, Wendy, I said this earlier. So I'm not naked. I definitely have a dress on. Okay. So I just wanted to do that because when I look at myself in the camera, it totally looks like I have no clothes on. And I know it's all ladies, but still, I ain't naked. We don't know each other that well yet, okay? So I'm going to share my slides with you, show you what it is that we have. And I will tell you this. At the end, there's a way that you can kind of share this with some people. And I'm going to have a couple of ladies kind of share their stories along the way. But me sharing this with individuals has allowed me to do a lot of things financially, pay off luxury cars, multiple. It's allowed me to do amazing things for my mom so I could be here with her. She doesn't have to be at work all day, every day. But on top of that, it's also put me in a mental space where I'm not stressed out all day. Okay, so let me go ahead and share the screen. And when you guys see the screen, just be like, girl, I see it. So I know that y'all see what we got. And if the screen doesn't do what it's supposed to, you can tell me that too. It's not going to hurt my feelings. This will be the first thing that you guys get to see that tells you, like, things aren't always perfect. So we're going to pray that this bad boy does what it's supposed to. And it says I'm sharing my screen and it looks like I see some things on here. Somebody say that you got it. Praise the Lord. We're here. Yes. Okay. So the club that I'm talking to you guys about is called DreamTrips. Okay. This is a club that's been around for a long time. So we're not new saying like, hey girl, I hope I'm starting something new. I hope it works. It works. We've done this for 20 years. We've gone all over the world. We've allowed a lot of people to do a lot of things they would have never, ever done before. Now, a dream trip handles all those things that I talked to you guys about at the beginning, right? Where you have to plan things and then, complaining, Sarah over here wants to complain about the food. Listen, It is a set itinerary. You could choose to participate in the itinerary or not. There is somebody that will go ahead and pick you up from the airport. There's a host on the trips. That means if something goes wrong, they can help you. Now, please don't not call the hotel and only use the host, right? It's just, they're just there for your comfort. If there's something big that happens, there's curated excursions, there's a farewell dinner, welcome reception at a lot of these. And you just get to meet a bunch of different people. We're in like 30 plus different countries all over the world. And so, as I said, it's an inclusive community. So if you're the type of person that likes to go on a trip and meet a boss babe from Greece, this is the kind of club that you want to be able to be a part of, right? Now, one of the things that I love is that I get to go to some places I never even thought of going to, right? There's some places that are like your bucket list that you're like, oh, I got to go Bali. Bali's everybody and their mama want to go to Bali, right? So I don't have to say like, hey, do you want to go to Bali? Everybody wants to do this. But for 5 days and 4 nights for only $729 and all the itinerary put together for you, that's pretty cool. You know, I am down to go to Bali as many times as possible, but maybe you've never thought about going to Croatia. Right? The goal here is for you to truly start experiencing life at a very different level. It's $809 per person, 4 days and 3 nights. Let me make sure I'm clear. This is based on double occupancy. That's a fancy way to say it's for 2 people. If you go with just yourself, you're going to pay a little bit more just because of how things are set up and pricing is set up. Now, if you're the person that's like, I want to go by myself because I don't have a friend that's going to go, you could actually reach out to people that are already going on the trip or people that are a part of the club, and you could get a roommate. I know for some people, they're like, I'm not rooming with somebody I don't know. But if you want to save some money, you could definitely do that, right? So that's up to you. 5 days, 4 nights going to Dubai. There's actually a lady that went to Dubai. I don't know if she's able to talk, but I was gonna just call on her. She's never told ahead of time that I'm gonna call on her. She probably knows she has blonde hair right now. And she's probably like, God, Hadi, why are you trying to look at her face? She's like, dang, I wasn't even ready. So this young lady just came back from Dubai, but I do kind of want to see if you'll be very open with us, Charity. So Charity joined our club this year. And when Charity came or joined the club, she was in kind of a tumultuous time in life. I didn't know that prior, just so you guys know. She ended up going on one trip with us, and then she ended up going on another. So she's gone on 2 trips in her first year of being a part of this club. So Charity, if you would be comfortable to kind of share what made you say yes and kind of what you were going through, because there's probably somebody on here that's in that space right now. So Charity is out of Atlanta. And so Miss Charity, I'm sorry, I threw you on the spot, girl. Come on.
You did throw me on the spot, but it is okay. I'm multitasking as well. I'm all over the place. But hi everyone. Hope everyone is having a good day. As Hadi said, I joined in February. I was introduced to the program by Nay. She is also a DreamTrips traveler. And the concept just made sense to me. When she introduced it to me, I actually just went through a really bad breakup. I was going through a really bad breakup. And so I already had paid for the trip. So I went on the trip by myself. And I really had a good experience because even though I was still trying to, get out of my funk and still trying to, meet these new and amazing people. It was kind of like they gave me my space and they kind of knew when to receive me and when I needed my space. And I'm getting emotional now because I'm just thinking about it. But it was the weirdest thing in my life because I'm like, these people don't even know me. I only knew Nay. She's the only one I knew. Like no one knew me. But everyone was just so sweet and so nice to me. And it was kind of like they knew that I was, going through my healing process and I needed my space. And after that trip, I was like, I gotta stay committed to this. Whether someone joins my team or not, this is definitely a place for me. And so I went on my second trip, which was to Dubai. I took my sister and we had a marvelous time. It was nice. Like I saw my travel buddies again. Davina, she was there. Hadi, of course, was there. Chris, well, he's not on this call, but Chris was there. I saw Brandon, of course, Nay. So it was just good when you go on these trips and you run into people who you've had these experiences with, and it's just like, hey, it's like a family reunion with friends. And it just was great. And I'm sorry, I always get so emotional, but when I say that it just if you love to travel, the club just makes sense. It just makes sense because I've also used it to see Janet Jackson. I had to get a hotel room. I had to go to Nashville. Um, I'm going to Dallas in December. I already booked my airport lounge. I love the airport lounges. Every time I travel, that's the first thing I look to book. The benefits with this club is amazing. I'm sure I haven't even tapped into half of the things I could be getting benefits off of this being a member. So I encourage you ladies, if you need a safe place, this is the club to join. I can't stress it enough. It is it's just amazing. I just love it. And please do join us. I don't know where my next travel is going to be. Oh, also, I meant to say, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm talking over and over, but I got a free cruise. So that's another thing I need to go book and see who I'm going to take. I might take my sister. I don't know. I might take my cousin. I'm trying to see who's going to be the lucky winner. But yes, I've been with the company for over 6 months and they sure enough did give me that certificate. So this stuff is not make believe. This stuff is really real. The prices are really real. The discounts is really real. So join us.
I love it, Charity. I was going to say Nay because Nay introduced you to this, but I love it because Charity was introduced to this club by somebody she didn't know that well. It wasn't like one of her best friends. It was somebody that she met that just introduced her to this. And I say that because we really never know what anybody's going through. And sometimes when you're really close with somebody, you're like, oh, it's not good for them because of this. But you might meet somebody, I don't want to say out in the street, but out on the street that they kind of need it. I mean, I was introduced to this by a stranger, you guys, at a bar. I mean, he didn't show me at the bar, but I met him at the bar. So, I want you to know that people are looking for this. So yes, we had a good time in Dubai. Dubai is just such a beautiful place to go. But, I'm going to fly through some of these other trips. If you see something that you're like, ooh, I'd like to go there, just push book it, type in, book it. I'd love to see some of the places you want to go. I don't know if a safari is up your alley. I mean, this is what I always realize. I realized that, people tell you to wait to do things till you retire. All I kept thinking was that my knee's going to retire at that time too. So I need to do stuff while my knees are not retired and while they still love me. I mean, imagine going to Egypt for $600 for 4 days and 3 nights. And I'll encourage you, if you're looking at any of these trips and you're like, that's not long enough, I'll show you how you can get a hotel at the beginning or at the end, and you could save some money on it and explore different parts of whatever area that you're going to or wanting to go to. We climbed through the pyramids in Egypt. I mean, that's crazy to be able to do stuff like that. Maybe you're like, hey, I want to go ahead and go to Europe and I want to go to some places. I've honestly never thought about going to Lithuania. I'm not going to lie. But when I saw that I could go for 3 days and 2 nights and it's $129, I'm like, I could go for an entire week and pay hardly anything probably then. That's the kind of place that I need to start doing. I mean, I don't know if you ever thought about island hopping in Greece, right? The way my swimming is set up, I don't swim that well, but I see she has a little floaty, so I bet I can make it happen, right? So whatever it is that you're thinking of, we have things for that. I mean, if you want to do more of a historical kind of tour, we've got that for $649. In the top middle picture, if you look behind me, actually the Acropolis is behind me. So I was eating dinner on a rooftop and the Acropolis was behind. I mean, that's something special. At the far right, I tried to cut my homeboy out because this was all for ladies. So I was trying to cut him out the picture. But I was able to do what was it? It was a 12-day, 5-country trip around Europe with some of my best friends because of this club, right? So, amazing things can happen when you open yourself up. And I mean, I think that's what we need is more experiences, right? Let's just try to figure out ways that we can push ourselves to say, listen, once a month, ladies, once a month, you need to do something for yourself for a couple of days. I don't care if that means you just go stay in a hotel for a night. I don't care if it's you just telling yourself, listen, I'm just going to tell everybody to leave me alone and I'm going to go on a date. I met a girl here and she told me, she said, I told my husband from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., nobody could reach out to me and I was taking myself on a date. I mean, when was the last time you took yourself out on a date? We don't even think about doing that. We're like, I mean, I'm taking away from the kids. I'm taking away, you got to start doing things. And so we have trips upon trips upon trips. Our goal is to get you to trip a little bit more, not the crazy kind of tripping, but trip. We want you to trip a little bit more, right? So what we do is as you go on trips, we give you stuff. So whether you go on 5, 10, 15, 20, or 100 dream trips, we're going to give you more trips. That's it. So if you think of it like your credit cards, right? Utilize your credit card. They give you more rewards along the way. Our rewards come in the form of travel. Go on 5 dream trips, free cruise, 10 dream trips. You get to get $1,000 towards more dream trips, 15, 2,500, $25,000 towards a birthday trip. And when you get on 100 dream trips, and I know somebody on here right now, you're like, you must not have nothing to do in your life if you're going on 100. Listen, my goal is to go on 100 plus. It's a lifetime type of situation, right? So go on 100 dream trips, you can earn a $50,000 custom trip of a lifetime. So, this is very important for us to start understanding that. Now, ladies, this is our jam. This right here is our jam all day. And I know internationally, everything is not the exact same. So for those of us that can partake and save on daily things, we have savings on daily things. If I could be a couponer, ladies, I would. But the way my ADD is set up, I'm starting for 5 minutes and a squirrel walks by and I'm done. So this is great for people that just like to save money, whether it's on, daily things, or maybe you want to go, I heard Charity say that she's going to Janet Jackson. Like, you could save money on those types of things. You even have your own booking engine. Now, I just use this, and when we are done with these slides, I'll show you the savings. My girlfriend was here in Cincinnati. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. I have multiple Airbnb properties. They were all booked this weekend. One of my girlfriends called me last minute. She wanted to stay, and I'm like, girl, I can't help you. However, I go in my travel club. I have a way that I could look and see if we could get hotels at a better rate. We saved $100 off a night by using what I'm about to share with you guys. Now, I do want to be clear always with you. It's not always going to be that big of a savings. Sometimes it's like $4, and sometimes it's the same, right? But it gives you the opportunity to save up to 60%. Here's an example: going to London, save $261 on Expedia, through us $150. So if you suck at math, it's okay. I put the math here for you. So going to Vegas, $183 on Expedia, through us $81. It's over $100 in savings. Or maybe going to Thailand. Instead of paying $284 a night, you would pay $78 a night. That's 70% savings. Now, we showed you the best savings, letting you know that it could be less along the way. But if you save that, I don't know, $100 every time you went to go book a hotel, would it be worth having a membership that did it? For sure. I mean, would you stay loyal to a program like that? Well, you heard Charity say something. She said, I've been a part of the club for 6 months and I have a free cruise. She wasn't lying. When you're a part of the club for 6 months, it does not matter, when you get started. As long as it's at 6 months, you're going to get a free cruise. And the cruise portal is cool. I don't know, Charity, if you've looked at it. There's different kinds of cruises. So it's not like just going to the Bahamas for 2 nights. These are real cruises that you're going to get to enjoy. And every time you book through that booking engine, you get 25% back to book some more. So that's what we do over and over again. We show you ways to have an elevated type of experience, from a 24/7 concierge to the airport lounges that Charity talked about. That is an airport lounge, if you can't tell, right on the right. I mean, I don't know why an airport lounge has the nerve to have a pool, but I was in it. I was down for this. Okay. I would have shown you guys the other picture of me inside the pool. It was probably a little bit too risque for the Zoom. Don't know y'all that well yet. So one day you'll get to see what it was like, but I definitely got in the water, enjoyed it. And on the left, this picture probably means more to me, and people are gonna be like, why? But I'm 41 years young, and my mom is upstairs, and she says this to me probably daily: you need to grow up. I don't ever want to grow up. I'm gonna tell you why. I watched grown-ups, and they boring. And they stressed out, and they get up complaining. I've watched that my whole entire life. And I was like, I kind of want to be like a kid. If a kid had a bad day before, they could have got spanked, grounded, couldn't have the Cheetos that they wanted. You know how they wake up that next morning? It's like your pet, right? You just yelled at the pet. You're mad at the pet, but 3 minutes later, what does the pet come and do? Lick you. It's happy all over again. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if you guys have ever watched Finding Nemo. Anybody on here ever watched Finding Nemo? You guys know who Dory is? That's what I want. Because I don't want to remember the bad days. And this is being for real. Like, I just don't need that in my life. And the way that you can get to that point is by having so many good days that even if you have a bad day, you're like, well, I gotta have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because now I can appreciate the good days along the way. The problem with adults, we don't have enough good days to get to that point. Can we agree? Like, life be lifing. So on the left, what I love is that one of the guys that we travel with, he was like, we're gonna all dress up as Spider-Man on this trip. And I'm like, listen, you ain't got to tell me but one time to get a costume, because I'm in. Wasn't Halloween, wasn't anything. I went and got a costume that made me feel good. And we literally went through the entire resort. People thought we were performers for the resort. And to be a 41-year-old businesswoman who has made over $1 million in this industry, to be able to do that, that's what I want. Because all the other women that I see that are business women would never be able to do that. People would look at them like they're crazy. They would lose massive amounts of respect, but that's just not how we work. And so we have a subscription, which is, our membership, very similar to the ones that you pay a lot of money for. Because, it's funny that people get rid of cable and then they buy every subscription. So they still end up paying more than they would if they had cable. By the way, if I'm talking to you, don't be mad at me, but it's the truth. Right. And so these are all subscriptions that we pay for that don't really like add value in real life to our lives. But we added something onto our subscription that will. And it's a digital learning channel where, the digital learning space has grown in such a crazy way these last couple of years because of the P word, the pandemic, right? That thing changed things for people. People realized that, their dream jobs weren't really their dream jobs. And why do they have to keep driving into work? And so, what happened was people started to create the life they deserved. And so they had to learn to do that. And so we've created a channel where you can learn anything from finance, personal development, leadership, holistic, all sorts of amazing things. And it's $80 a month on top of the memberships that I'm going to share with you. Now, if you're like, I don't want that, don't do that. If you're like, hey, I want to do that maybe in a couple of months after being a part of the club, do it then. I just know this. If you're not growing in life, you're dying. And it is important to continuously do things to be able to grow. Now, here are the levels of membership, and then you guys will be able to stop hearing me and you'll hear from some other people. How did it just go back to that? Well, that was weird. Here are the 4 different levels of membership, as you guys can see. It's really 2. We have a standard and a priority, and we added the plus on there. The standard level of membership gives you access to everything that I shared with you, all the like fun stuff outside of the concierge as well as the airport lounges, okay? When you get started with this membership, we actually give you money to use in your booking engine right away. So you'll have money that you could use and save with. As you're a member for 6 months, you get a free cruise. This membership is only $200 to activate and $80 a month to maintain. If you want to add the plus, you add $80 to it. So if you're not good at math, it's already added here for you. So you could go ahead and be a standard plus member. Now, if you're the person that's like, I need that airport lounge access and I need the 24/7 concierge, perfecto, come on with us as a priority member. This is the membership that I got started at. You will actually earn $390 right away that you could use in your booking engine. And every single month that you stay a member, what we do is we take your monthly fees, we multiply them times 3, and we give them back to you. Yeah. So we're making sure that you get that money in your booking engine. So you'll always have money that you could use for whatever. You might even gift a trip to somebody. It's completely up to you. So membership is $600 to activate, $129 a month to maintain. You decide to be a plus member, you add the $80 to it and you call it a day. Now, here's the last piece that I'm going to say before I shut my mouth. If you are looking at this right now and everything sounded awesome, and then I gave you the prices and you were like, so she did all of that to give me a bill. Like, you don't have to side eye me. Listen, I understand. I get it. I got bills just like you got bills. I probably got a lot more bills than you got. So when I looked at this years ago, let me tell you where I was. I was getting ready to donate my kidney to my brother. I actually saw it 2 months before I let them cut my body open and give my kidney to my brother. What did that mean for me? I'm an entrepreneur. I do marketing with athletes. I told my athletes, I'm not working. And I really didn't work for a couple of months because I realized in my entrepreneurship journey, I'd spent no time with my family. And when they made me do a living will, I freaked out. I was scared. I was like, if I don't make it out of this, I better create memories now. So I was trying to squeeze everything in. So guess what my bank account looked like at that point? I don't know if you guys can guess, but it was special. Because although I was making a 6-figure income, your girl was spending more than that. So I didn't have like savings built up for this, but I knew I wanted more. And so I said, yeah. So what was important was to see this slide. When you think about going on a trip, and you guys could just put this in the chat for me, when you think about going on a trip, put a couple of people that you would want to go on a trip with. It could be their names or their relation to you, right? Do you want to take your mom on more trips? Is it your cousin that you know deserves a trip? When you think about going on a trip, who are the people you want to go on a trip with? Maybe it's your kids, right? Like think of all the people that you would want to go on trips with. Well, as long as they're over 18, when you refer them to this club and they decide to get a membership, it could get you to the point where you no longer have a membership fee. So you refer 4 and you pay no more. You refer 3 and you still got a fee, queen. Okay. Now, it doesn't have to be 4 every single month. It could be literally, you could say, hey, I'm going to do 1 a month. And when I get to that 4th month and that 4th person gets started, then my monthly fees are gone. It's completely and totally up to you, which is nice. Now, I do want to tell you guys how it worked for me. So when I got started, I'm taking the slides off of here. Let's see if we're smart enough to do it. Come on, Hattie, I know you got this. I know you're smarter than the iPad. There. When I got started, I was so excited and y'all couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, everybody's going to join me. We're going to travel the world. We're going to have so much fun, you know, because they were the people that you put in a group chat. They all said they wanted to go on a trip. They was ready to go to Miami. So I was like, oh, everybody's getting started with me. And I invited everybody to my house. I had 13 people come to my house. And I had somebody do a presentation. And at that time, if you decided to share this, you could make money and they would pay for a BMW. So I had somebody come over and they had a BMW sitting in front of my house. And I was like, oh, they're going to all want to do this because there's a BMW and we're going to go on trips. And what do you think all of my friends said? All of them. Mind you, I've never borrowed money from anybody outside of my mama, right? It's the only person I've ever asked for money for anything. I was the girl that worked for the NFL, so I got them into every party. Even the heifers that just couldn't get a boyfriend, I would hook them up with NFL players. I was like the plug for everything, right? So all 13 of them said nothing. They didn't say yes or no, which is worse, right? Wouldn't you just rather somebody just tell you no? You're like, just say no, I can take a no. But you know how people operate? They're afraid to say no. So you know what they do? I'm gonna think about it. Girl, but we just talked about this. So I was deflated. And I'm telling you this because if you're trying to refer your 4 and the first 4 don't say yes, my first 4 didn't either. Now, let me tell you what it took for me to get to that party though, guys. I'm in Cincinnati right now, okay? I drove 4 hours to Detroit to do that party. I drove 4 hours back to Cincinnati because I still hadn't donated my kidney yet. Remember, I started before and I was trying to kick my business off. But I was determined, and partially because they said no to me, I wanted to embarrass all of them and really make it work. I'm just telling y'all the truth because that's how I was. I'm not like that now, but that's how I was. So I drove back the next weekend. And at that time, it was like another 13 people or so. They all did the exact same thing. So another 8-hour trip for what? Nothing. Now, most of you guys on this call right now, you'd be like, girl, she's crazy. Just go on the trips, girl, and say bump it. But I've just got something inside me that's like, when you tell me no, that's like a whole yes. That's why in this house that I'm in, there are no screens because I done jumped out every single window possible. When my parents said, no, you can't go out, a heifer was getting out. I was like jumping out the window. I was crawling out the window, right? So like a no to me is like, oh, yes, I'm coming back. So I did it again, guys. It took me 3 times and 6 people came over to my house. The first person that got started with me, and I'm just letting you know, was a guy that did something illegal to make money. He was an illegal pharmacist. Y'all get it? Somebody get it. Somebody understand. And my husband invited him to my house. And I almost killed them both. First of all, why is he over here? I don't know nothing about that life. I'm just telling you guys like the true story. It was not one of my close friends. But once that happened, that gave me the confidence. And from there, we've been able to help a lot of people refer their for. So has it worked? Yeah, we've had a lot of fun. We've gone on a lot of trips. I've been to over 30 different countries, right? I decided to share this. I made some money along the way, but there's other ladies that are on here. And I just want to see, let me see. I know Myra is here and I know Wendy is here. And Wendy had tons of different reasons. Wendy is always into empowerment in general. And Wendy, talk to me. You've gone on some of these trips. How have these trips impacted you in your life? Like, you know, where are you at right now? I don't know where you're at in this world. Tell us where you're at. What's going on with you, Queen?
I'm currently sitting in an apartment. I rent it in Atlanta, but I live in Houston. This has been just so great for me. And I am all about empowerment. I was able to buy a teammate's plane ticket to come out here so she could learn and deep dive into working with people that are high caliber, like myself and Chris and Dylan and the whole squad here in Atlanta. And so it's just, for me, I saw how quickly women like Hadi grabbed my hand and they were like, look, this is what it is. Just be on these calls, show up, and over time you will change and develop. And now that we have DTI plus, like D plus, it's just amazing. All the growth and development that we get to experience together, and like be real and authentic with the women that we are locked arms with so we can move forward together. So it's just really blessed my life a lot that the women that have shown up here have changed me. And now I get to be a vessel for the next woman in line. Because when I really saw this, I was broke in every kind of way. I was working like 100 hours a week and making $12 an hour, making a property owner millions of dollars a quarter. And I just wasn't appreciated. And, eventually the flip came and I was able to walk away from corporate America. And it's pretty empowering to like teach women and learn from women all at the same time that you can literally do whatever you want with your life. Like you could go wherever, be wherever, work from wherever. Y'all, I'm getting ready to leave to Uganda for like 15 days in November. And who's going to stop me? I didn't have to ask a boss. I didn't have to fill out forms to request at work. And that's not to boast or brag. That's just to impress upon you that like, if there's something that is burning inside of your heart, if you work this, and it doesn't have to be hard. It's fun. You know, like if you work this, you can get what you want out of life. And so in April, it'll be 9 years, and amazing women keep changing everything about my life. And I'm so grateful that that's just the beat and the tone of women here inside of this company. I'm so grateful.
Thank you, Miss Wendy. And I'm excited for the Uganda trip. I went before, but I want to see everything that you do. And, you know, Wendy hit on a couple of things that for some of you guys, you might be like, what is she talking about? Because I didn't talk about like the business side of this for real. The business side of this, basically, you know, the long and short is like, if you ever heard of Avon, anybody ever heard of Avon on here? Anybody know what Skin So Soft is from Avon? Okay, so like we're the Avon ladies, but instead of having Skin So Soft, we have Hawaii and Fiji. Okay, so like that's that's like the simple way for you to understand like the second part of what we do. So, you know, I think Skin So Soft will be here from here to Kingdom Come, just like travel. So we're those ladies, right? So that's kind of like the business part. And you can make a little bit or you can make a lot. It's really up to you. The other cool part about it is that it could allow you to start writing some things off. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have children that play sports and you got to travel with them, but wouldn't it be nice if you could start writing some of that stuff off on your taxes? That's a big deal for a lot of people. So that's definitely something you could do. Let's go back to Detroit really quick and get my girlfriend Myra on here. So Myra is somebody I met years ago. She was super young when I met her. I remember we used to go to events and training events, like for our personal development. She would bring her son to everything. And I got to spend a ton of time with her son, learn her son, and he was able to just really grow because of the things that he was learning along the way. But I remember Myra was young. Like, you got to tell him how young you were when you got started, Myra. And she's blossomed into such a fantastic queen. I was able to be a part of her life as she walked away from working for the government. And I remember when she told me she wanted to quit, and she'll tell you how I'm set up. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you're going to stay there. You're going to make your money and make a little money on the side. And she figured out a way to make this happen. And I really think it's the mindset that you get from this. Like when you hear that somebody's going to Uganda for 11 days and they don't have to ask a boss for it, it makes you start being like, well, what the heck? What am I doing? Like, Charity, you thinking, how I can do that? I want to do that. Like, what I got to do? So Myra, talk to us, Queen. Tell us like what got you started in this, and you know, what has this done for like your life from travel and mindset along the way?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Queen. Thank you, Hadi, so much. And I really do want to go just a little bit more into that story, guys. When I saw this, it was 2023. So, I mean, no, we're in 2023 now. So it was 2013. It was 10 years ago. And I was 22 years old going on 23. I was a teenage mom. I was in college and I was working for the state of Michigan. So, so I just was really figuring out my life, figuring out what I wanted to do. And I thought that what I wanted was that government job. I thought that that was going to be my career and I was going to be set for absolute life. Now, my actual coworker, and this is coming full circle at this moment, my actual coworker, she just passed away. Her funeral was last Wednesday. But my coworker, Nora Alexander, introduced this to me. And she told me 10 years ago that do not make this job your everything. I didn't listen. I did not listen to her then. I was in there working salary, but 12, 14 hours a day. I was in there on the weekends. I was in there on holidays. I was even in there on my child's birthday if we were not taking a train trip. And Nora, God bless her. So there was actually a picture in her obituary from one of the trips that we took. And what that meant to me is that 10 years later, that I am still in the right place at the right time. I am doing what was meant for me to be doing, because I was not put at that job to be working. I was put at that job for that woman to be in my life. And so, try not to be emotional, because we don't have women pouring into us every day to make us better human beings, especially not where I'm coming from in Detroit, Michigan. You don't have too many people uplifting you, and I am so grateful for this circle, because this is the only circle that I have that tells me that I can do better, that, you know, the sky is the limit, and do not limit yourself to what other people's expectations is in this world. So yeah, when Heidi said, you know, girl, you're not quitting that job, I was like, no, yes, I am, and I have a plan, and we have been rocking that plan, and she makes sure that she keeps me on track with that plan. And you guys, you can't buy this. You can't buy it. The trips are amazing, but seeing kick-ass Kylie and DR taking amazing pictures, getting to talk to her, you getting to learn more, seeing Charity on the Zoom calls, being active all the time, seeing Heidi just being a burst of fresh energy. Like this is the environment. This is some things that I know that I've paid for, to sit in certain rooms, to go to certain conferences, to learn certain things, and we get it. We get everything that we need right here with this membership. So I just wanted to go a little bit deep in that story of why I actually began Dream Trips and how much it has been for me, because it's not only been travel. Yes, I got my first passport. I went to Mexico 10 years ago, and now I renewed my passport. So I'm working on my second book, and I'm going to Mexico for the fourth time with Dream Trips in December, not counting the over 10 trips, other Dream Trips that I have been on over the last 10 years. So I just want to say thank you very much, and thank you for allowing me to share.
Awesome, awesome, Myra. So listen, ladies, if you loved what you saw, tell your friend, yes, tell them I want to do this. We are literally wrapping up because we have another one of these happening. Guys are allowed on this other one. But we have another one that's happening now. We're literally like a couple of minutes late for it. So we are wrapping this bad boy up. And tell your friend yes, tell them no, tell them quick, because we got to go. But we will be doing this every other week. You could always pop in. And guys, it'll be different stories. So you can hear some stories, and hopefully you'll be able to share your story. So guys, I want to tell you, we love you lots. We want to see you living more life from a travel aspect and opening your mind to having another stream of income. Bye, ladies. Have a great rest of the day.